Hey, what up, guys? It's Shane and Anil with k-pak. Hey, we just wanted to make this quick video for you guys. There's things like about the car dealership, like myths, that people like kind of conceptions that people have. And when you Google like car dealership myths, there's a bunch of things that come up.
So the first one goes, the end of the month is the best time to buy.
Okay, so yeah. True, yes. End of the month is a good time to buy because everybody knows that dealerships are trying to hit their quota numbers, or they got goals. But I'll take it one step even further. A lot of dealerships that are corporate owned, they also have huge quarterly numbers as well, right? So if you go like every third month, right? So instead of like going in the end of January, wait a couple months and go at the end of like March. We've done some crazy stupid deals before. The end of quarter that I was like pretty shocked myself that we were kind of doing those kind of deals. So definitely end of month, end of quarter, end of year, these are the best times, I think.
Depending on the dealer and how they operate, there are dealerships, either it's corporate or they're privately owned. So privately owned dealership, it really comes down to the management. There are managers that like to start early, and throughout the month you get a good deal, but then at the same time, there's management that only makes deal in the last 6 days of the month if you are looking for incredible deal or something really crazy. So that, in my opinion, could be both ways. You just have to, talk to the dealer or talk to your salesperson to see. They might be pretty honest with you too. They just see how they operate and whether it's an early month store or whether it's a late month store. All right. So the second one is financing is cheaper outside the dealership. So that is not true, because it's always good for you to bring a rate from your own bank, because that way at least where the rates are on cars. But as a dealership, we give, on average, dealership is giving so much business to these banks and credit unions that chances for us to match your rate or beat your rate is a lot higher. So I think on that one I will go with definitely not true. You have to give the dealership an opportunity to beat your rate or at least try to match it.
With all the information that you can get on the internet, you should be able to quickly just research like what's the best auto loan rates. Go to like things like credit unions, credit union websites, or like USAA, or like any, even your local bank, like if say you bank with Bank of America, right? So just see what kind of rates that they could offer. So you come in armed, and then when you go to the dealership, most dealerships, they'll be willing to they'll work with you, want to cater to you. They obviously want to get the car financed through the dealership. Very good possibility that dealership will be able to match your rate.
All right, so number 3 myth is don't tell the dealer you have a trade until the end. Go on it. Go first.
All right, so I think it's a good one. Don't tell the dealer that you don't have a trade until the end. You can get a very good idea what your car is valued at. Just do a little bit of research on Kelley Blue Book to see what they're currently trading for. Work out your deal first. Keep it a separate thing, and then if you came in with a car like roughly what it's worth, like if you got an appraisal at CarMax, for example, right? Then you could just negotiate that afterwards.
You definitely want to bring it all the way until the end, or at least when your price is out of the way. At the same time, if you're at the dealership and it's 8 o'clock and they're closed already, and you're negotiating for another 30-40 minutes, don't bring it then. It's just too late. So just be a little bit respectful to the hours as well. But in terms of the process, yeah, I do agree. I think get the sale price out of the way first before you bring in the trade. So the 4th myth is dealer never lose money on new cars. I think this is one of those that you as a as a dealer or you as a consumer, you don't have to think about that. We definitely lose money, because it's not per se losing money, is we have to reach certain numbers in order to get that money back from the manufacturer. Now there have been months, or there are times when you just can't get to your numbers, and then it is a loser deal. So that, as a consumer, like I said, don't get into it. I mean, you just want to focus on getting a good deal. But if you just want to know in terms of knowledge, no, absolutely. There are times dealers loses money. If you're not hitting your number, you're absolutely losing money, especially on new cars. Especially the way the market is nowadays.
I mean, there's way more at stake for the dealership to like not hit the volume numbers, right? Especially if they're like a high volume dealer, which is, by the way, the types of dealers that you want to be dealing with are the high volume, the high performers in your area or in your region, because they have to sell cars strictly based on volume. Whereas, and it makes sense, right? If you're in a small town and the dealership, they're not pumping out like 100 cars a month, right? So to them, every sale, they're gonna try to make the most money they can.
So what's the next one? Let's see. You want to read?
Okay, so next one of the myths are going through the internet manager is always cheaper. So internet managers are, if you're ever dealing with somebody that's like a quote unquote internet manager, there's a good chance you're really dealing with just a regular salesperson. It's not the actual manager of the dealer.
Just a title.
Yeah, it's a title. It's nice, but when you're inquiring on the internet, I know the whole point is to save time and just response back and forth, but if at all possible, try to get on the phone with somebody live. See if you can get to that the sales manager directly. I mean, there is some truth to this, right? If you're dealing with the manager, right, not the internet manager, but the actual sales manager, you're going right to the source. You don't have to go through a middleman.
It really depends, honestly. I mean, there are salespeople, they can get you a better deal than you working with the manager, and not everybody who says they're a manager in the dealership means they are managers. Obviously, it's just sometimes people just use titles. But it really does not matter as long as they did their homework. You know where True Car stands. You know what people generally in the area are getting pricing on the car that you're looking for. You don't need a manager. Your salespeople a lot of times actually, they will work harder to get you your best deal because they also want to cut the chase and make the deal and just move on with their day. So I think on that one, it could go, in my opinion, it could go both ways. Dealing with a manager, it's a great way, but managers are so busy sometimes they might not even have time for you. So just be open to your salesperson, and hopefully they'll get you a good deal.
Next one we got is paying cash always saves money.
And that's the one we hear every single day. I mean, I've been in business 10 years, different departments, finance, manager, sales. Every day we hear this, and it's absolutely not true. Paying cash to a dealer does not mean anything, because even when you're financing, the bank is paying us for the whole entire transaction right away. So every deal for us, whether it's finance or not finance, is going to be cash in terms of we get their money from the bank anyways. So not true. If the dealer is you already know the deal is good, paying cash or not paying cash it's not gonna change anything anymore, unless the brand has some rebates that they might offer to clients for paying cash, and your dealer will offer you those rebates once you let them know you're paying cash for it. But other than that, there's no difference between financing or paying cash.
Generally, like most of the rebates and manufacturer incentives that are out, they're all geared towards getting you to finance in-house with them, right? Because that's where the relationship is built. It's an ongoing business, so at the end of the day, they want you to buy another car from us again as soon as possible. So they're going to incentivize it to go with their bank, whether you lease or buy, and every several years or so, often you'll get a new offer for as far as like loyalties and things like that to stick with the brand. Okay, next one is dealers need to move the old models out when the new models start to arrive. Duh, that's a no-brainer. I mean
that's in any business, right? I mean, it doesn't have to be car dealership, but manufacturer nowadays, they're very smart. So it's not like back in the day we have 500 cars and 250 of them are 18s and 250 are 2019 models. That doesn't happen anymore. Manufacturer know when they're expected to send you, or as a dealer, when are we getting the new cars, they start the incentives or rebates or discount 3-4 months before the new ones arrive. So chances are the dealer's going to be, if you are looking for a good at the end of the model year deal, try to go there 1 or 2 months before the 19s or the new models come out, because that way inventory is good, you're able to find the color and options and everything else you want, and you'll get a good deal instead of just waiting all the way until the last minute.
It's gonna be always usually around the summertime, end of July, August, in that time frame. So if you're shopping around that time, Audi usually has, you know, they'll usually have something you know, called the summer of Audi, right? It's right in that time, right? And all the incentives come out, all the really aggressive ones. So that's a good time, especially if you've done a little bit of homework and you know that the model year, it's not going to be a redesign, right? Because you don't want to sometimes have that regret of like, okay, you know, I'll get the previous model year, and you come to realize that the very next model year, the whole car changed the design, and there's all these new technology and features out that you could have wanted, you know. So that's a good place to check. Buy on a rainy day, okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I think, in my opinion, you know, anytime it rains or snow or whatever kind of, you know, bad day, it's a good day to go to the dealership and buy, because they're just so slow. And you're not per se gonna save tons of money, but you might get a better service. In my opinion, it might not be money wise, you'll get a better deal, but I think the service wise will be good, because you might be the only customer at the dealership. They'll spend more time with you, salesperson can go over the car with you more, so it'll just be a little bit, holy shit, I thought it was fucking like a gunshot. But so
trying to crash our YouTube game here.
Yeah,
rainy days, generally, like, let's take a look at it from like you know, the showroom's point of view, right? It's raining, especially it's a weekday, so it's kind of like gloomy, things are down, so it feels like it's even slower, right? But if anything, like on the weekends, like rainy days are you know, usually when there's like a lot more activity, because like, you know, maybe some of the outdoor sports or outdoor things that, you know, people do on the weekends is canceled now, you know, whatever they were going to do. So then we'll see like an increase in traffic. I think the reason why, like, you know, it's like people tend to buy more on rainy days is because, like, you know, they don't want to like go back outside and get all wet. You know, they could sit there and you know, talk about their cars, yeah, and negotiate a car deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't. Any given day, you'll be able to get a good deal on the car. It doesn't have anything to do with the weather.
All right, guys. So the last myth on this list is, if I know what the dealer paid for, I can get a better deal. So basically, what this means is that if you know what the invoice of the car is, you'll get a better deal. Yes and no. So basically, you can ask for an invoice, and most dealers will show you the invoice as well. Depending on which car you're looking at, I mean, if it's a car that it's a volume car, we're going to be below invoice anyways. If you are looking for a sports car, any kind of car that's hot in the market, and let's say it was a Supra that just came out, yeah, you can look at the invoice for you to look at, but that does not mean the dealer is going to give you the invoice. So just looking at the number, I think, is for your, I don't know, if you just want to be happy that you looked at an invoice, yeah, you can ask for it. I don't think it plays any role in whether you get a good deal or not. You know, it's really market determines what the deals are. If anything, like I said, most cars will be below invoice after they're discounted for you anyway. So yeah, that's just what I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, from the invoice, you know, that's considered like the cost of the car. But if you're asking for like, what did the dealership like actually pay for this car, right? You definitely don't want to go there, right? Because you're not going to be able to negotiate that what the dealership actually got for the car, okay? And if you go there, it's kind of like you have more of a chance of creating an enemy, you know, and working out your deal than you know, just be reasonable. That's all I'm trying to say. It's okay if you like research something on the internet and then you found like, okay, you saw like 3 different websites are saying like this is a fair price for the car, and if you go to the dealership and be like, hey, can you do like 500, or like, you know, I'll even say go as far as like, you know, 1,000 more than better than this, right? It's okay to do that. Be reasonable, and if you have a good salesperson, they'll be more than capable of giving you a fair price that you'll be happy with.
All right, guys. So these are the 9 things we wanted to bring to you that we found online, myths about dealership, and with our experience, we just wanted to explain them to see which one of them are true or which one of them don't even make sense. Hope you guys like them, and stay tuned for more stuff like this. Subscribe, hit the bell button. Peace.
Peace.